Hi, welcome to Crizzy Books. I'm Crizzy, or Criz.
But only my homeboys called me Criz.
And today I'm going to be doing a review for The Return of the King, the final chapter in the epic Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien. So we've come at last to the ending of the epic journey. War is looming, battles are raging. Sam and Frodo are nearing Orodruin or Mount Doom. Will our heroes prevail in their quest, or will darkness spread across Middle-earth? Of course they prevail, we all know that. In terms of what happens in this book, we have some preliminary side quests from Aragorn, seeking this cursed spirit army in the mountains. We've got Pippin working for Denethor and Gondor. Merry is riding with the Rohirrim on their way to Gondor for a great battle. Gondor's under attack by Sauron's forces, and a giant battle ensues in the Pelennor fields outside of Gondor. Good prevails over evil in the end, and this epic standoff. And then we putz around in Gondor for a little while before Aragorn leads everyone to the gates of Mordor to hopefully distract Sauron's eye and army, giving Frodo and Sam enough time to get the ring to the volcano. If they're even alive, they're not even sure. Of course they are, but they're in some pretty bad shape. Frodo's been captured by orcs. He was poisoned by Shelob in Shelob's lair at the end of the Two Towers. Some orcs came across him. Sam thought he was dead. Sam takes the ring off of him because he figures, well, Frodo's done. I'm going to go and finish this. He finds out that Frodo's not dead. Orcs have taken him up into a watchtower. So Sam, being the uber badass that he is, he goes in to the tower and he kills some orcs and he saves Frodo's weak ass. They get on with their journey. They travel across Mordor for a long time. Frodo is really dragging ass at this point. Gollum is following them. Eventually they make it to the volcano, and Sam has to carry Frodo all the way up and into the mountain, where Frodo decides at the last second that he's not throwing it in. He's not doing it. And then Gollum shows up. They fight. Gollum bites his finger off. They push Gollum in with the ring. Ring's destroyed. Sauron's done. Everybody's happy. And then everybody comes back to Gondor and hangs out for a while. And then eventually the Fellowship makes their journey home together, each one kind of going their separate way when it's time. And once the hobbits get back to the Shire, they find out that it's been taken over by a guy named Sharky and some bandits, and it's just all in disarray. So they've got to get the Shire back. Sharky ends up being Saruman. Our heroes round up all of the local hobbits. They take back the Shire from Saruman. They kick his old ass out. And that's pretty much the end of our story. For a couple of years, Frodo clearly has some problems. He ends up leaving Middle-earth with the elves. Everybody else stays back. End of story. Done. Lord of the Rings. Over. And man, what a great ending to such a big, epic, long journey. This was a very, very good story. I enjoyed this quite a lot. And this book is so heavy metal. There are so many instances in this book, in particular of the three, that has such cool imagery. Let me just give some examples. We've got Aragorn and his party's trip to the Pass of the Dead and everything that's happening there. There's at one point some ancient king or watchman outside of a cave who's just been there forever, and I think he says something and then just kind of disappears. Like, awesome. The standoff between the Black Captain and Gandalf in Gondor. Metal. The winged creature that the Black Rider captain rides. Metal. The Battle of Pelennor Field. Very cool. Very metal. Denethor lighting himself on fire. Sweet. The Mouth of Sauron. Awesome. So cool. And really a lot of what happens in Mordor, including Sam and the tower that he's trying to enter and the things that are preventing him, and he's got all of that. So cool. It's all very dark and demented and very awesome imagery that just, I really love it. And even though we've been on this journey for a while, we're still getting lore and new characters and new factions of people and nations and things. One big one that stood out to me were the wild men, the Druidane. I thought that they were really interesting, actually. I kind of wanted to know more about them, very secluded and stay out of the matters of, normal men. But they decide to help them when they see that this could be a threat to all of us. And surprisingly to me, I really enjoyed the second half with Sam and Frodo and their quest in this way more than I did in The Two Towers. It was full of excitement and tension. Frodo's deterioration, he's really, really struggling to get through this, usually on the verge of death. Sam's strong will and his loyalty to Frodo and their quest and seeing this through to the end no matter what. Gollum's creeping presence, he's always there. And the fact that they're in this desolate place, surrounded by orcs and goblins and black riders and the Eye, it's just a massively threatening area that they're in. And navigating through it and all the things that they're coming across, it's just so crazy, and it was very exciting, very tense. I really, really enjoyed this part more than the other half. So kind of switching from The Two Towers, like I preferred everybody else in the Fellowship story in The Two Towers to Sam and Frodo's. In this one, it's the opposite. And let's just get to it and talk about Sam. I think I've already mentioned it, but Sam is absolutely like the best character in this story, and he's easily my favorite character. He puts up with so much from Gollum and from Frodo, and Frodo is just the biggest burden in this story specifically. Frodo has at this point become a total Debbie Downer. No matter what they do, he's naysaying and I can't go on, Sam. And Sam's like, well, then give me the ring. He's like, no, you can't. It's like, dude. And through all of that, everything he had to do just to get Frodo back. And then Frodo just is acting like this. Like, Sam understands, I understand, but still, my God. I mean, the mental just willpower that it would take to put up with somebody like that and not just be like, just go to sleep and I'll just take the ring. Sam just keeps on trucking, and he shows his love and his devotion for Frodo and their task. Frodo's a little bitch in this, and he was super annoying. He just seemed so helpless, and his behavior, it was really repetitive of just like, I can't, like, and I get it. I understand that the ring is affecting him and does not want to be destroyed. It knows what's happening, and it's influencing him in ways that he can't control. But, when you're not the one going through it, it's tough to kind of be like, man, come on. And he just keeps getting himself into situations and falling over. It reminds me of that meme, like getting really tired of your shit, Mr. Frodo, because that is how I felt. The ending of this is really sad from a perspective of Frodo, because he clearly has some kind of PTSD, and he leaves with the elves, and he leaves his friends, which also suck. Like, how do you leave your bros when you all went through this crazy thing? But then he's like, no, you can't come with me. I'm going on my own. You guys got to stay here. It's like, dude, they did crazy stuff too. I think they've earned the right to do whatever they want. If they want to come with you, they should be allowed to. You don't get to like tell these guys what they can and can't do. I just found Mr. Frodo to be a little selfish. If you've watched my other reviews of The Two Towers and the Fellowship, my gripe throughout the entire thing has just been that action goes by too quickly. There's too much emphasis on describing landscapes. That's all still here. It doesn't change, which really does stink, because I think the Battle of Pelennor Fields was good and could have been really good if it had been more fleshed out and had spent more time. There's really amazing moments of Eowyn and Theoden dying. I loved him. But they just go so fast that it doesn't really give you a whole lot of time to dwell on it. And I can honestly say that the movies do this better. They spend more time and give it more emotional weight, and they make those battles really epic. And after Pelennor Fields, after this giant epic fight, we spend like 3 chapters in the Houses of Healing, and I wanted to pull my hair out. And I get it's kind of supposed to be this calm and peace after so much has happened. But like, Sauron's still out there, guys. Like, this is not over. Like, you gotta move. And once the ring is destroyed, I feel like a lot of things could have been left out of that. I was totally fine with the Fellowship, hanging out and chilling in Gondor for a while. That makes sense. They earned that. But when the hobbits get back to the Shire and Sharky / Saruman and the bandits, I didn't think that this needed to be in there. And it also just pissed me off because even after all of this, they're going to let Saruman go. They do let Saruman go. And I just don't get it. Like, what is the deal with this group's turn the other cheek bullshit towards this guy? How many more people need to die because of him? How many more evil things need to happen? He tried to take over the world with Sauron. Like, this dude was trusted by so many people, and he betrayed all of them, and they just let him walk away again. Wormtongue ends up killing him in the end, and I guess that's cool, but it just doesn't make any sense. But anywhoozle, I still really liked this book. I thought it was a solid finale to the story, and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5, and I'm going to give a 4 out of 5 to the series as a whole. This was definitely the most exciting of the 3 for sure. It had the most at stake. Coolest imagery by far. I think if I had to rank them, though, after reading all 3, it's difficult because I like The Fellowship a lot, and I like Return of the King a lot. I can definitely say that The Two Towers is probably my least favorite, even though I like that too. I gave all of these the same rank, so they're all pretty good. But I think I'd have to go with Return of the King at 2 and Fellowship at 1. I feel like the setup of the journey and everything that happens in 1 leads up to this, and I really like the origin or the beginning of a journey like this. But this one was very good, and I think just as strong. I mean, I could flip those 2 around and not be mad about that at all. And with that, I have now officially finished The Lord of the Rings for the first time. I'm initiated. I'm legit now. I can't just walk around pretending that I know stuff about Lord of the Rings because I saw the movies. I've read the books now, so I am better than you. I think I'm going to give Tolkien a bit of a break for a long, long while. I don't really have any interest in reading like the Silmarillion or anything like that. Maybe one day I'll read The Hobbit again for the 3rd time. But these were good. I totally understand their importance and their influence, and I think that they still hold up pretty well by today's standards. I think if you're going to compare them to more modern takes on the fantasy genre, it's likely that you're going to find things that are done a little bit better. But if you're going into this the way that I did as a fan already of this world and wanting to know more and wanting to get at the source and having the understanding that these were written a while ago and this was kind of one of the first of its kind style of fantasy stories, you'll have a good time. A little bit dated, but I think overall they're still worth reading, especially if you're interested in them. But what do you think? Have you read The Return of the King and all of the Lord of the Rings? What do you think? Do you love them? Do you not like them? Do you think they're overrated? Sound off in the comments below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you for watching. Goodbye.